So imagine this will be my adapter plate. That's roughly cut out. And then this shaft comes to a point and stops. So here's my chunk of material I found. It's about 5/8 thick. I plunged a hole with an end mill, and now I'm taking my boring head, and I found this random chunk, this bushing in my bushing bucket. And I'm just gonna basically bore this open till this is a nice slip fit. So I've been working out a little bit. It's about 10 thou at a time. Well, I'll speed the process up and show you the finished product. 10 minutes later, the hole is perfect. It's a nice slip fit. Well, this is just going to be used as alignment tool. I'm going to now take this to my lathe and bore this so it fits. This will be my alignment shaft. This goes inside the hole, and then it wedges tight. It's about 10 thou thicker here. And then this will be used to center this before I bolt this on the bulkhead. Off to the lathe. Let me show you what not to do on a lathe. Well, that collar's, it must be hardened from a motorcycle swing arm. But just basically what I'm doing, feed it in slowly, taking a cut, 5 thou off at a time. I gotta go 1-inch ID. So I'll speed up the process and show you the finished product. So this shaft fits tight. It has a counter bore, or shoulder, a little bit thinner on the end, I mean. So this, it slides in and then it gets stiff. So now it's pretty tight in there. And here's the adapter we just made. I bored this ID the same as this, maybe a couple thou over. So this slides on that adapter. And obviously I need to cut this down, but this, yeah, so now that slides all the way on. Now what I have to do is, I'll probably take some balls and stick them in the hole, and then smack it with a hammer and indent it to get the hole pattern on this. I'm going to see how that works out, and then I'll drill this out, and then I'm going to bolt and epoxy this down permanently. And now this will be my new centering tool when I put the larger support bearing on. Off to the next. I made this on my lathe real quick. Just took an old bolt and put a center on it. I don't know if you can see that. Just imagine a sharp center tip. This is, I'm using it as a transfer punch. So I'm going to thread it in one of these holes, the cleanest hole. All the others are messed up. That's why I'm doing this. Plus the hole is kind of messed up in general. So I threaded in a couple threads. I'm going to put slide my piece on, and I'm going to rotate it down. I'm going to go around there, kind of center it up in my piece, which is pretty tight already. And you got to have Grandpa's hammer. It's the only way to do it right. And that's it. If you look, there's a slight center punch hole. Now drill it 8mm hole, and I'll roughly bolt it on and do the same for the other 3 or 2. Now I'm going to countersink the holes and then adapt the bearing bulkhead to this plate, and then obviously cut off the extra so that my alignment is is really tight. You know, so that's perfectly centered to the existing bore. So here's where I'm at. I took an old bearing housing that the bearings are toast in this, but I'm still using this as a jig, if you want to call it. I milled the top of the pin holes on the top down just so I could beat out the pins. So now, and then I put in that alignment shaft, the one that I cut down, and then here's my plate. That's basically going to go into itself. And now, obviously my original holes are here. I need to line it up. Well, that's the top of it. And I'm going to line it up something in that orientation. So now I'm going to drill and tap 3 8mm, and I'm going to stud these. I'm going to stud them, and then once they're studded, I'm going to drill. I still need to find what size these dowels are. I'm going to drill the holes once this is tight and aligned in the backside with that my little sleeve that I made. So then I'll take the new housing, the one with the good bearing. This had a really low hours. Then I'm going to take this. This has the studs inside of it. It's basically, I could just slide it on and off, you know, and then if I need to buy another one, you just buy it, put a new one on, or replace the bearings, however you want to go. So that's going to work out perfect. Let me drill and tap these 3 holes, and then cut off, you know, figure out how much extra I need to cut off. So I already, this is centered with this, that we already bored the hole. I drilled and tapped 8mm. These are studs. Obviously they're long, but I'm floating it in the center. You see I'm rocking it. I'm doing it all by, that's all by feel. I know my co-workers, Dave and Corin, they're actual machinists. I'm just a dirty redneck here in my garage. I'm just gonna eyeball it on center. I know. The machinists out there are like, oh geez, that guy. So I'm floated in center. I'm going to turn the spindle on to help me visual center it in the hole. There's probably about 30 thou back and forth. I could deal with that. I'll lock the spindle down. That's perfect in X. Okay. Let me get a little bit more. Now I'm going to lock down my X and Y on the table. Get this out of the way. Remove my studs. That out of my way. And I'm not even using a spot drill. It's fine, right? Perfect. Now I'm just gonna move everything out of the way, drill and tap my 8mm, and off to the next. So I got some stainless studs. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this wedge style stud installer remover. It just cams. It's got 3 cylinders in there that wedge itself. It's the best way to install a stud. I'm not done with this plate, obviously, but right now I want to install it all the way so then I could pin it. I need to order some shorter studs. But for now, so yeah, now this will just slide on as it's in the ski. Perfect. You see there's a little bit of rock still, so I'm not binding on any of the studs, so I did a perfect install, perfect. But my studs are a little long. I'm using nuts as spacers. No, this is not a permanent, but the guy that worked on the ski before me, he would have left nuts like that. No, I do not do that. I'll probably turn some spacers down on the, well, no, I need to order the right length studs. But for now, I'm gonna lock it down so then I can take the drill and pin it. I'm gonna drill it all the way through so when this gets located on, it's pinned, it's perfectly centered to the plate. So now I'm gonna rock it left to right, or rotationally, that is. Let's see. Get all three. That's okay, solid. Now I'm going to just center this in to the stud, to the holes, pop them through, and then I'm going to take a Sharpie and trace this so I could cut it on my bandsaw out back. I don't need this much. It was just a chunk that was laying in my mess. Okay, next. Originally I had these countersunk, but the alignment was just a little bit off, so I ended up putting a counter bore, and then I opened up the holes just a little bit so I could rock it around to get the alignment right on. You see, it fits good now, you know, so that'll be perfect here. So now I also added threads over here so I could come off with this bracket I made. Let's see, where is it? Anyhow, the bracket's gonna attach my factory bilge. Also, I put another one here so I could mount a bracket to mount this one over here. I'm not there yet with that fab, or upside down. Okay, next, I'm gonna pull this off, sandblast it, and powder coat. Here's my part, sandblasted, smoothed off on the belt sander, and ready to be pre-baked before I powder coat. Here's the finished product with 5200, you know, the white silicone epoxy. So this pin is solid in the center. Oop, shit. I still need to clean some of that off. But here's my alignment tool. This fits really tight inside here, and it's about 5 thou loose on here. I wouldn't call it loose, but there's a little bit of rock, and it's just a perfect fit. So, and then, well, obviously I'm going to clean that up right now. So then I'm going to take, this is my sit down, can you see it? This is my sit down mount with the pins. This is going to locate, where's it at? Okay, there it is. So I'm going to put some stainless steel studs here, but I'm not ready to mount this yet. But that's going to lock in place. And this is already centered to the center bore. Any ideas? So this is a mix of carbon fiber and fiberglass, but I'm either going to gel coat it or 2-part epoxy paint, maybe gloss black. So tell me, chime in, and thanks for watching.